And today we're going to talk about the importance of community and why staying actively involved with your community is beneficial. So how can being involved in a community benefit the relationships of those who reside in that community? This was the main idea that I wanted to focus on when doing my research, and I came up with the main idea that staying actively involved with your community is beneficial to not only yourself personally, but the community as a whole. I know for me, I grew up in Bow, and a lot of us have, and even if you haven't, the constant connection and interaction between people that you see every day is something that's really important and can create potential lifelong relationships. I know for me, the friendships that I made in elementary school playing soccer with all the same girls and growing up with all of these girls, they're going to be memories and friendships that I remember for the rest of my life, and I think that's really important. And within a small community like Bow, that's pretty easy to do. So social media platforms are pretty easy to get caught up in nowadays, and like Facebook, Instagram, all of those. And a majority of our time can be consumed just by staring at a screen, and before we know it, we'll be sitting there for hours. And with that in mind, it's pretty hard sometimes to be motivated to do things such as volunteer. I mean, why interact with people face to face when you can just do it behind a screen? And with that in mind, I was pretty curious to see just how much involvement I would get from the teenagers and preteens at the events that I helped out at. Sorry about the white space right there. Sometimes we volunteer because we have to, whether it's for a club or if you need the hours. And I know I've definitely been guilty of that. And with that in mind, it may always not be your first choice to volunteer. And yes, that's definitely understandable, but when you're doing that, maybe just try and remember that you are actually helping somebody. And when you do volunteer, don't do it for yourself, do it for the people that you are helping, and do it because you want to make a difference. Peggy Schlechter was an author that I cited when doing my research, and she stated that the satisfaction and pride that comes from helping others is a good reason to be involved. I was able to see this in action when I worked with Ms. Gurton, Ms. Rose, and Ms. Blakey at the Bow Recreation Department. With them, I helped out at numerous community events, such as the local Halloween party, which was held at the high school, a blood drive, and the annual Christmas tree lighting. Those are some pictures of those events. The Halloween party in particular was one that stood out to me, because it wasn't just kids from Bow who came, there were kids from all over the area and different communities who came together for this one event, which I think is so important, and it's such a great example of community. The ladies at the Bow Rec department were extremely inspiring to me, in particular, because their love for the community was never ending. I remember when I visited them, they would tell me stories about the elderly folks who come every week to do Zumba, and they would also tell me about the 3-year-olds who come during the summer for their camps. With those 3-year-olds, they eventually grew up, and they were able to see them develop over the years, which I think is truly amazing. I came to realize that these little interactions are what form pretty meaningful connections and essentially a community. Their main focus is to make people happy, and that's something that I think everyone should consider. Basing the project off of community service work, I looked at the different ways keeping in contact with people surrounding you is inspiring. For my community service, I was involved in other events, such as the turkey trot, which is held at the high school, the craft fair, and the falcon pageant. The turkey trot had to be one of my favorites because it was there that I met Miss Longnecker, who some of you may know as the former assistant principal at the high school. And her spirit during the run, despite the fact that it was absolutely freezing, made it extra fun. There are people who come to run that race every single year, and there are families who even cross the finish line holding hands, which I thought was amazing. The moment a family crossed the finish line, their smiles were contagious. The involvement the crowd had with the runners, whether it was cheering or running alongside during the final steps, was really moving. So to go into some depth about my research, above is a picture that shows some volunteer rates that have been charted. Since 2007, only about 26% of the population volunteers regularly, it's not really a lot at all. People in their early 20s were the least likely to volunteer, and those in their late 30s and early 40s are the most likely to volunteer. Married couples were also the most likely to volunteer. Those who volunteered at their own initiative versus those who did it because they were asked to had about the same percentage. So how can staying involved help you benefit positively? Studies have shown that volunteering helps people feel more socially connected, which in turn decreases the levels of loneliness and depression. Living in a steady, healthy community promotes a constant stream of happiness and spirit. On a physical standpoint, it's also been shown that being active decreases stress rates, which correlate to the decrease in health issues. So I've learned a lot about this topic through the things that I've done for my project. I had some challenges coming up with an idea of what I wanted to do for my project, but when I decided on this topic, I knew that I would get a lot out of it. A steady and healthy community can benefit a person emotionally and helping your area thrive can make you feel even better. I personally have always enjoyed working with people, and so being able to meet so many people and hear their stories was really inspiring to me. Lastly, a community is not about the things that happen there. It's not about how many championships we've won or the things or issues that may occur in the town. It's all about the people who live there, because it's them that are going to be making an impact. I encourage you to start getting involved, because you never know who you'll meet and where that might take you. And as Peggy Schlechter said, act as if what you do makes a difference, because it does. Thank you.